where it all began. So, this is where it all started. This is my first ever apartment in Seoul. It's not much to look at now, but back then I had big dreams for this place. This is where I filmed every single episode of my first web series. I remember pouring so much time, effort, and money into making this place look good, just for it to be torn down 6 months later. But that's okay because I learned a lot from that experience. And I was able to apply those lessons to my second studio, which I built from scratch. And you know what they say, second time's the charm. Not only did we have a lot more space, but it also came with a giant yard out back that we turned into a set for the second season. And, everything just felt right. We had the perfect backdrop for our show. And we were even featured in a Korean movie. It was an amazing experience. But eventually, I got greedy. And I wanted even more space. So when this place went up for rent, I jumped on it. It didn't look like much when we first moved in, but once we put in some work, it became one of the most iconic studios in Korea. Here's why. We built these beautiful sets that became synonymous with the brand. And even though this place was twice the size of my previous studio, I was still able to keep the rent affordable by minimizing the overhead costs. That meant more profit for me. But the best part about this place was the people. I made some great friends here who became like family to me. We shared our struggles and successes together, and it really felt like we were building something special. But all good things must come to an end, and this place sold so the new owner could turn it into a luxury apartment complex. They probably thought I wouldn't be able to afford the new rent, but they were wrong. I signed the lease the moment they sent it over. It wasn't cheap, but I knew it was worth it. The second floor was perfect for filming because of the high ceilings, but the first floor was a little awkward. It was too small to film in, but it was too big to tear down. So I decided to split the difference. I built platforms to create two separate sets, and it worked out perfectly. But there was still one problem. There was a pillar in the middle of the set that I couldn't get rid of. So I used it to my advantage and built the bar around it. It became one of the main sets in the show, and it symbolized the connection between the characters and the audience. They would talk to us directly and share their stories, and it felt like we were all friends hanging out together. It was magic. This is the story of how I met Sam. Back when I was a struggling filmmaker living in Seoul, I had a dream of creating a TV show that showcased the hidden stories of ordinary people. But no one believed in my vision except for one person. My landlady. She gave me the opportunity to rent her basement apartment for cheap, so that I could make my dreams come true. It was cramped, dark, and had a leaky roof. But to me, it was a palace. With the help of my two best friends, we turned the apartment into a makeshift studio and began filming my web series. It was tough, but we were excited because we were doing what we loved. As the weeks went by, we started attracting a small but dedicated following. People would leave comments on our videos, sharing their thoughts, and even suggesting future topics for us to cover. It gave us the validation we needed to keep going. But it was still a struggle. No one was getting paid, and we were pouring our hearts and souls into the project. But you know what they say, your blood, sweat, and tears go into your art. And that's exactly what we put into the show. One day, everything changed. A popular YouTuber contacted me and asked if he could be in one of our videos. At first, I was hesitant because I didn't want to jeopardize our creative vision. But after some convincing, I agreed. The video was a hit, and it opened the door for more collaborations with other YouTubers. Soon, we were getting hundreds of thousands of views, and our fan base exploded. It was surreal. But with success comes growing pains. As the show got bigger, I realized that I couldn't do it alone. I needed a team of reliable people to help me produce, film, and edit each episode. So I reached out to my network of friends and recruited a small crew. It was a game changer. Now we could produce higher quality videos faster and more efficiently. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. We still faced challenges and setbacks along the way. Sometimes the guests would cancel last minute, forcing us to scramble and find someone else. Other times we'd run out of ideas and have to brainstorm for weeks. But we persevered through it all because we were passionate about the show and the impact it was having on our lives. It was like a meteor shower of subscribers and views. To say that I was surprised is an understatement. My phone was ringing off the hook with interview requests and congratulatory messages. But amidst the chaos, I knew that I had to stay grounded and focused. I didn't want the success to go to my head or cause me to lose sight of my original vision for the show. In fact, that's still one of my mantras today. Whenever I feel like I'm getting too big for my britches, I remind myself of the long and winding road that brought me to where I am today. The countless hours spent planning, filming, and editing each episode. The sacrifices made along the way, like not being able to spend time with family or go on vacation with friends. And most importantly, the unwavering support from my viewers, because without them, none of this would have been possible. But the craziest part of the journey was yet to come. A major media company reached out to me and offered to buy my show. At first, I was in disbelief. I thought they were joking or trying to low-key steal my content. But as the negotiations went on, it became clear that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I could continue making the show that I loved, but now, with the backing of a powerhouse media company, it was a no-brainer. Looking back, I'm so grateful for the journey that brought me to where I am today. From the humble beginnings in my basement apartment to the sold-out crowds at the Olympic Stadium, it's been a wild ride. But through it all, I've learned some valuable lessons. Stay true to yourself and your vision. Never give up on your dreams, and always stay connected to your roots. Don't let success go to your head, and remember where you started. And most importantly, take care of yourself. You're the most important asset you'll ever have. Thanks for watching.